What's up, Everyday Blades? Man, it's a nice Sunday. It's a little chilly outside. I thought we would do a top 10, my favorite top 10 knives in my collection. And without further ado, let's get her going. So, number 10, Chavez Liberation M390. I really like this knife. When I got my first production Chavez, it was a street, and I liked it. It was a good knife. Don't get me wrong. I just love these 229s so much better. It's because I have bigger hands and they fit my hands better. This has just become, man, for what you pay for what you get, that is a quality piece of hardware. Love that knife. This one has been in my top knives for a long time. Grimmasque. This is a knife that the second knife Grimmasque produced, and they were trying to make a knife that was a little more plain, a little more basic, a little more easier, but they don't have the ability to do that. Everything they do is going to be over the top. This knife is more beautiful inside than it is outside. The milling, it's just a wonderful knife. I mean, the action on it is killer. The anodizing is perfect. The micro milling and the scales, I mean, the action is just flawless. There's nothing to not love about this knife. Killer knife. This knife and this run of knives stirred up a lot of controversy with Microtech because they started farming out some of their production knives to China. But man, I tell you what, they did a phenomenal job. This is the Anox. It's a remake of one of their customs, and I had their custom Anox, and I prefer this production over that custom. Now, it may have just been the one that I had, but man, the action on this one is better. The feel is better. It's just an amazing knife. I love this knife. A lot of people don't like the bill bearing on there. I like it. I think it's cool. This one, this is my favorite out of all their production knives. This knife took me by surprise. This is the Leon Ma Field Duty. This is the original one. The 3.5 is an amazing knife on its own, but this one here is just something special about it. When you disengage the lock, it just feels like luxury, man. I don't have another knife in my collection that has an action like this one. And the fit and finish is just second to none. I love the polished ceramic ball. Good looking pivots. Just a great knife overall. All the way around. Home run knife. This one has been my favorite since it first came out. Medford. Slim Midi Marauder. This is my favorite Medford out of all the Medfords. This is the perfect size knife. Thin blade stock, comes down to a crazy thin edge. Beautiful Medford grind lines that are all done by hand. S45 VM blade steel. Their tumbling process they use now leaves like a mirror polish. Man, it's just beautiful. I wish more people would do it because it just feels really good in hand. It feels like glass. Man, it's beautiful. With violet standoffs. Love that knife. Bill Koenig for president. This man builds knives. I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetics of this knife, the shape of this knife, but it's such an amazing knife that I have to keep it in my collection, and it always stays in my top 5, top 10. This one's actually in my top 5. The action is just insane. It feels so good to release. And this is the non-flipper. I'm not a big fan of flippers. I love the fact that they make a non-flipper option from the factory, because I don't like to modify knives. It kills the value. When you put your hand on there and disengage it, it's so effortless. And I got a lot of knives that are similar to that, but I had to do work to them to get them like that. They didn't come like that. Koenig's come out of the box like that. Koenig Arius. Another Koenig. This one's over that one because this is just my favorite Koenig of all time. This is the Koenig Arius. I mean the Koenig Mini Goblin. The only thing I would change about this is I would remove the mini. I would make it just a little bit bigger, and this would be the perfect knife. But just like the Arius, it has an insane action, and it feels so good in hand. The flipper tab is flawless. I don't even care this is a flipper because it works so well. Everything they do is perfect. The newer ones, I believe, are a flat grind. This one's a hollow grind. I think I would like the hollow grind better. I'm glad that I have that one. Koenig Mini Goblin. One of my grails is an actual real goblin from the original maker. I forget who that is, but anyway, I've seen a few floating around. This here is an epic knife. The Roosevelt. Just an amazing knife all the way around. Small, thin, fits in the pocket, big enough to get done what you need to. Mine's not really drop shutty, but I think the lock bar is a little bit snug on it. I don't use it all that often. It's one of these knives that's almost too nice to use very much. I'll carry it on special occasions. Got the Damascus clip, Damascus backspacer. Just a great knife, man. I don't think there's hardly anybody would argue, but this was in my top one for a long time. This was my favorite knife. It's still really close. It's in number 3, so we're getting towards the top. So just an amazing knife. This one here, SKP Laia. Okay, so a little story about this one. You don't get this knife out of the box and it's phenomenal. You get this knife out of the box and it's really stiff, and the lock bar is stiff, and the knife doesn't want to open very easily. It's on phosphorus bronze washers. You have to break this knife in, and it takes a long time to break in. Even if you tune the lock bar like I did, I relieved the lock bar pressure, got the pivot just right, but still it took a lot of breaking in. But once it breaks in, it's second to none. It feels so good, and I'm in love with the shape, the ergonomics of this. It's just a perfect working knife. This is a custom working knife. I love it. It just does everything I need it to do, and it does it very well. I love everything about that knife. I've heard there's some with bearings now. I'd love to have one of those, but man, they're pricey. Some people are gonna trip. You ready for number 1? The DPX Demo. And this knife feels amazing in hand. It's not too big, but it's a big knife. I'm a big guy, so it's really easy for me to carry. It's on bearings. But the best thing about this knife, the thing I use the most in my day-to-day, is that marlin spike. I mean, I use it for a pry bar. I use it to undo knots. I use it to, you name it. I use it to clean my fingernails out with it. I mean, that thing is just handy as all get out. And the fact that they put it with a lock bar on the back of it is just super cool to me. And I can't believe you don't see more of this knife out there. This is number 112 of I don't know how many. Plus, it's a thumb hole opener, my favorite deployment. Large hardware. I think it's. I think these are 10s. Yeah, these are 10s, or larger, maybe 15s. Torques. Oh no, they're Allen heads actually. They're larger Allen heads. The only small ones are these that hold the lock bars in, but how often are you taking that out? Very, very seldom. Very, very cool. This was made by 3 designers. William Harsey being one of them. RYP Designs being another one. And it's dedicated to Billy Waugh, a famous war hero. So, yeah, this gets more pocket time than any knife that I have. It's been in my pocket every day since the day I got it. It's just super handy. It's not too heavy. I have a review on this, and I have like a first impressions review. I'm going to be doing a long-term review on this because it's such a great knife. The flipper works great. My finger's a little busted up right now, so it doesn't work that great, but I don't hardly use it anyway. It's M390 blade steel. This is actually the Billy Waugh DPX Demo. And Demo is right, because this thing would do some demolition, man. Got way more versatility than just having a knife. Plus, it's got the glass breaker on there. I'm a huge fan. Love it, love it, love it. Guys, thanks for watching. God bless you and your families. Say a prayer for our country. Good night.